Nigel Nelson. That's an opportune moment to bring you in. I understand why Sir Keir Starmer would accept this defection, because it would say to the voters, well, if Natalie Elphicke can change stripes, so can I. And isn't that what Sir Keir Starmer wants? But here's a seat that's only been Labour 4 times in the past century. 1997, when that was the Blair effect, but since then, not a sausage, not a sniff of Labour getting into power. What's in it for her? Am I being cynical when I think her career is going off the cliffs of Dover as it was, and she wants to get out of politics, pull the ripcord and dress herself as, well, it wasn't my fault that we couldn't stop the boats. I was one of the good guys. I defected. Is this a blatant act of self-preservation, reputation-wise?
Well, it rather depends what she does next. I mean, Olivia's mentioned that the rumours certainly are that she doesn't want to stay in politics, that she will leave at this election. She hadn't announced that, so she'll carry on being the MP for Dover until the election. What Labour said today was she's free to apply for other seats, but gave no indication about whether she would do so.
The party won't want that, will they?
Well, I mean, she's now a Labour Party member.
But other MPs, I mean, they would naturally think they'd be genetically opposed to everything she stands for.
There are a number of Labour MPs who are not comfortable with this, that Natalie Elphicke was associated with the right-wing European Research Group previously, so they're a little unkeen on this. And also the thing she said about immigration, that she certainly slagged Keir Starmer off on immigration all the way through.
Repeatedly, yeah.
So I think that Olivia's got a point, that she is keen on the housing thing, that she feels the Tories have broken their promise to build 300,000 houses. That's what they said in the manifesto. They'll be lucky to get to half that. So that part makes sense. The bit that doesn't quite make sense is in her statement she talks about the Tory party is going away from the centre, that she is a centrist. Well, as Olivia just said, that Tory MPs don't reckon that she was very centre.
The next question is, are the dominoes going to continue to fall? If Elphicke can flip, then anybody can. At least that's what people will be thinking within the Labour Party and the Conservative Party. As you said, we saw Poulter go, we've seen Lee Anderson go. Of course, this now makes it 3. 3's a crowd. Will there be more?
Well, already the Conservative majority since the last general election has nearly halved, astonishingly. There were 80, the Conservatives had a majority of 80, now it's more like 40. Will any more defect to Labour? Well, this one came as such a shock. It's sort of impossible to predict what comes next. But Keir Starmer has said that he's having conversations with all sorts of people. He was asked earlier today whether our very own Nigel Farage would be welcomed into the Labour Party, and he didn't actually say no. It'll be really interesting to see. I'm not suggesting for a moment Nigel Farage will be joining the Labour Party, but it is interesting that Keir Starmer essentially isn't ruling out anyone joining the Labour Party at this stage. It'll be fascinating to see how Labour MPs react to this, because Starmer, obviously for him, it's fantastic if people defect from the Conservatives to Labour. It's a show of his strength and a show of Rishi Sunak's weakness. But plenty of Conservative MPs don't like the idea of someone like Natalie Elphicke, who, as Nigel says, was in the ERG, in the European Research Group, very right-wing group of MPs. She was in the group of New Conservatives, another really right-wing grouping of Conservative MPs. And, perhaps most controversially of all, she defended her ex-husband all the way through his trial for sexual abuse. And even after his conviction, she said that he had been punished for being attracted to women and attractive to women, which really don't sort of reconcile with what the Labour Party has to say about relationships between men and women. I expect there'll be quite a lot of Conservative Labour female MPs who feel very upset about this.
And Nigel, such talk of Nigel not being rejected from the Labour Party. I mean, what's in my tea? and also Carol Vorderman was welcoming of Natalie Elphicke. I thought, hang on a minute, 5 minutes ago you hated the moral fibre of every single Conservative on the planet. Now anybody's welcome. What's going on?
Well, I think politics has gone pretty topsy-turvy over the last few months, which is the answer to that. I really can't see Nigel Farage joining the Labour Party. I'm not sure he'd want to anyway, even if he was invited. And I don't think I think that really would be a step too far for Labour MPs. But one of the reasons that there isn't a leadership challenge against Rishi Sunak is that Conservative MPs realise there would be a load more defections, especially from the moderate wing of the party, if you tried to unseat the Prime Minister at this point. And yes, I think that you might find others. What, of course, they ought to do, any MP who defects ought to call a by-election immediately.
Yeah,